Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Juliet Pennyman, Superintendent of the Hudson City School District, and along with me tonight, I have our Executive Director of Business and Finance, Ms. Christy Ferry. Tonight, we will be presenting the proposed 2025-2026 budget to you. First, to begin, our vision. The vision of our district basically emphasized just creating an inclusive learning environment that values diverse passions and cultures and talents of our students. It focuses or highlights a commitment from students, staff, and the community to learn, explore, and to collectively achieve together. The mission. Our mission focuses on inclusivity and motivation for every student in our district so that they may reach their highest potential as Blue Hawks and in their future endeavors. The foundation for our budget focuses on 6 keys to school improvement. First, we have strengthening the instructional leadership capacity. So what does this look like? This involves enhancing the skills and the effectiveness of our school leaders and our administrators. What it does is it helps us to guide teaching and learning practices by providing professional development and support for our instructional leaders so that they can better influence curriculum, instruction, and assessment to improve the outcomes for our students. Next, we have strengthen the instructional core. This focuses on improving the interactions between teachers, students, and content. So, we do this by ensuring that all 3 elements are effectively aligned and supported in our schools so that our schools can create better learning experiences and outcomes for our students. Improve data-driven practices. This entails utilizing data to inform every decision we make throughout the school district, intrinsically and extrinsically. Educators and administrators will analyze student performance data to identify strengths and areas for improvement. This allows us to tailor instruction and interventions to meet the needs of every single student in our district. Promote positive, inclusive school environment for all stakeholders. This means fostering a school culture that values and ensures that every student, staff, member of the community, parents, and families feel welcome and supported. We create a positive environment to enhance student engagement and collaboration among all of our community members. Increased monitoring and accountability is the next tier. This approach involves implementing systems to regularly assess progress and hold educators, students, and administrators accountable for performance. How do we do this? We do this by setting clear expectations and monitoring the outcomes, and our schools can then ensure that all stakeholders are committed to improvement. The 6th key is a tiered approach to school support and intervention. This strategy provides varying levels of support based on the needs of the students. So for example, some students may need and require intensive interventions where others need just targeted supports. This tiered system allows schools to allocate resources effectively and help all students to succeed. Our 2025-26 proposed budget does 3 things: maintain general fund programs, create efficient systems of support with a total budget of $58,544,000. And now I will turn the presentation over to our Executive Director of Business and Finance, Ms. Christy Ferry.
Good evening, and thank you for being here. Tonight, we'll walk through the key components of the school district budget by examining major expenditure categories organized through the three-part budget, a structure that is essential for understanding how we allocate our financial resources across the district. The three main components are the administrative, program, and capital budget categories. Each plays a distinct role in supporting our schools and ensuring we meet the needs of our students and community. Our budget newsletter is also available online and has been mailed to homes, and you can see it there on our website. And also our budget book is also online on the district website. In order to create a balanced budget, there needs to be an increase in revenue to align with the increase in expenses. The increase in revenue for the proposed budget is primarily due to the planned use of additional assigned fund balance and reserves. Assigned fund balance represents money the district has intentionally set aside from prior years to support future budgets. This year, a larger portion of that balance is being applied to offset expenditures and help maintain program stability. Similarly, the district is drawing from specific reserves to manage costs strategically. These planned uses are one-time revenue sources and reflect a thoughtful approach to balancing the budget while addressing current financial needs. The total revenue is $58,544,000. As part of a fiscally responsible strategy, the district is reducing expenses through attrition by not filling certain positions that are vacant or when employees retire or leave. This allows the district to manage staffing levels carefully, align resources with current needs, and avoid layoffs, while continuing to support essential programs and services. Let's start with the administrative component in the three-part budget. This part of the budget supports the governance and oversight functions that keep our district running smoothly and legally compliant. It includes costs associated with the superintendent's office, district clerks, legal counsel, auditors, and the Board of Education. It also covers planning, record keeping, and staff development for our administrators. These aren't just overhead costs, they are the foundation of a well-managed, transparent, and accountable school system. For instance, accurate business operations ensure timely payroll, compliance with state reporting, and responsible handling of taxpayer funds. The budget codes that typically fall under this component include 1240, the chief school administrator, the superintendent, 1310, business administration, 1320, which is for auditing services, and 2070, administrative professional development. While this component usually represents the smallest portion of the total budget, it is critical to everything we do. This represents $7,519,687 and right around 12.85% of the total budget. The second category is the capital component, which covers the operation and upkeep of our school buildings and grounds. This includes custodial staff, heating and lighting, security systems, repairs, and any ongoing or planned construction of facility upgrades. It also includes debt service, the repayment of bonds used for major capital projects approved by voters in the past years, as well as insurance for district properties. Budget codes in this category include 1620, operations of plant, 1621, maintenance, 9730, debt service, and 9950, transfers to capital fund. Without proper investment in facilities, we risk higher repair costs later. safety concerns, and the deterioration of learning environments. This budget helps us protect these investments we've already made and avoid costly emergency fixes in the future. The third and most significant component is the program component, which accounts for around 75% of the total budget. This is where we see the direct impact on students. It includes all instructional expenses, salaries for teachers, aides, and counselors, special education services, classroom supplies, and technology used in teaching. It also funds student support services such as guidance counseling, library and media centers, co-curricular and athletic programs, and student transportation. It funds the people and programs that create safe, engaging learning environments. Budget codes include 2110 for teaching regular school, 2250 special education, 2610 library media, 2810 guidance, 2850 co-curricular activities, and 5510 for transportation. To conclude, we've discussed how the school district's budget is divided into three essential components: administrative, program, and capital. Each part plays a crucial role in ensuring that our schools are well-run, effective, and capable of providing a high-quality education to every student. Each of these components plays a vital role in the ongoing success of our district. This budget ensures that we can continue providing the necessary resources for instruction, student support, and facility maintenance. It's about investing in our students' futures, maintaining safe learning environments, and supporting the administration that helps keep everything running smoothly. By reviewing these budget areas closely, we ensure that every dollar is being used strategically, responsibly, and transparently. Thank you for your attentiveness. We hope that through this presentation, there's a better understanding of how financial resources are organized and allocated. Thank you.
Is this where we can ask questions?
Yes.
Do you have the number of positions that are not being filled based on the retirements of position and all of that yet?
We've been working on that, and it looks like I don't have an exact number right now.
And was there any impact from the state budget being passed?
No. So in terms of a difference of state aid amount, it was what we had expected it to be. But yes, we were waiting, and we're glad that it didn't. Right, and we're glad it did not decrease, but it was what we had expected.
Good evening, everybody. So tonight we'll learn about district-wide improvement recommendations. Along with that, this capital project and the energy performance contract. So here's the layout for tonight. Today's buildings and grounds progress is from 2022 to 2025. We'll have a few acknowledgments along the way. The financial support will come from Bernie Dunnigan's office. As Jason, he'll be on virtual. He'll talk about the bond and how it intersects with our school and our loans that we have out now. Following that will be the capital project upgrades, which will be the scope of how the project is determined, how that lays out with the state, and the timeline. And then lastly, we'll do the energy performance contract, what it is and how it helps the school. So our building and ground progress from 22 to 25 includes a few upgrades that we have done in-house. These were done with either grant money or, general funds along the way. So when I first came to the district in 2020, the end of 21, 22, I was tasked with remodeling the elementary gym. You can see the two photos there attached. The bottom photo shows the deterioration of the pads and the acoustic panels of the walls in the elementary gym. And the top photo shows the floor just before it was refinished with some new logos. This was a tough one. This has two parts of the district, a part that was built in 1997 and a part that was built in 1936. The gym is actually split right down the middle with those 2 years. So we started from the top down. We got some new retrofit kits for the roof drains, repaired any roof, tears or anything that we had, punctures in the roof, and then started with the lighting and the acoustic tiles down the walls. The elementary got a whole new facelift for the sound system, for their assemblies within that gym. And then we started working on the bleachers, which are all new modular seatings. You can see kind of in that picture as well. Then obviously the floor. The floor was actually fun. We let some of the staff and the principals in on that, and they were able to pick some new logos out and add some new lines for the gym teachers for other games that they play within house. Next on the list here is the upgrade to the senior high gym. The basketball hoops in there were original to this building, which was 1969. So we remodeled all the basketball hoops. We added some safety pads on the north and south ends of the wall. Upgraded the shot clocks along with that as well. That was about a $100,000 project. There's multiple floors within both campuses of our district. There was some district conference rooms done, some classrooms done. It was kind of like the worst floors that we had, and also some faculty offices as well. That was approximately about $50,000. So staying with athletics there was some batting cages. We've seen a big uptake with baseball and softball with our district, with especially Little League. So we did some enhancements on our batting cages. We now have a batting cage in the junior high gym that the coaches and players can actually set up themselves. We remodeled the one in the senior high, and there's two exterior cages as well. One down at the baseball field at the elementary school and one here at the softball field. Equipment's a big one. So we try to stay up with the equipment. The janitors and maintenance staff really do need the right things to do the job. So along these last few years, we put about $100,000 into trucks, golf carts, salt spreaders, a bunch of janitorial equipment, whether it's burnishers or floor machines or anything really along those lines. Next here is our cameras, our camera software. We've actually had phase one of this project done. Our software was converted over to the new Avigilon software. There's been some addition to the cameras in phase one, but this project here was a small project, only about $20,000, but the second phase is really what's going to kick the cameras off for the district. That you'll learn actually about in the next board meeting. Cheryl Rabinowitz, IT director, and myself will let you know about all that. The Smart Schools, just a little quick recap, is $1.7 million that all the districts in New York State were given for safety, and cameras, phones, and wireless are going to be really the big uptake of that $1.7 million. Next on our list here is the HVAC project that we did down to 97 Wing. The 97 Wing has about 20 classrooms that don't have air conditioning. This project, we were able to complete 12 of the 20 classrooms done. So we have approximately 8 rooms left to do, which will be a phase two, which we're going to try to put into one of these two projects as an alternate. And if not, it'll be something that comes down the road. But as of right now, those 8 classrooms do have portable air conditioning in them. Cafeteria seating. Cafeteria seating was a big one. Is almost $500,000. The entire cafeteria was redone with furniture. It's just, to make the kids feel more at home in the cafeteria and not eat in the hallways and classrooms. Electrical vehicle charging stations was big. We got some incentives back from NYSERDA on that. That was about 50,000. We have 6 charging stations at both schools. 6 of them out front here, and then another 6 down at the elementary in the upper parking lot. Sidewalks down at the elementary, we've installed 2 sidewalks in the last couple of years. One came out of a gym exit, which there was no sidewalk there. It was just grass. That's just a fire exit. It was just a small sidewalk that we continued into what was already there. And then the playground, kids were kind of getting muddy around, walking from playground to playground. So we installed a sidewalk that just wraps around the kindergarten playground that gets them to the second playground. So we have some acknowledgements here. Our facilities committee, who works tirelessly through all this, all these upgrades and meets constantly, is Dr. Pennyman herself, and then there's 3 board members, Ms. Jones, Mr. Lewis, and Ms. Gustafson. And then our Buildings and Grounds clerk is also on the committee, Tabitha Brash. A lot of this stuff couldn't happen with the principals that we have. They are totally invested with the school. Mr. Brenneman, Mr. Reardon, and Mr. Bear, and also Mr. Briscoe as the athletic director. Buildings and Grounds and custodial staff really doesn't get enough credit as they should. They are completely invested in day-to-day operations with the district, and they really try their best to keep and maintain the district as safety as possible. John Sharkey, who is our district architect, he's been for a very long time. Jason Swartz, who's here on virtual, he's going to talk to you about, he's our financial partner. He's going to talk to you about the bond. Christine Shale, she couldn't be here tonight. She's the district bond counsel. Justin Benoit, he also had something come up. Him and Michael Carlson are from Energia. They are heading the EPC project. Mr. John Sanborn is here from Johnson Controls. He will give their update. Yep. Okay, so with that said, we'll jump right into Jason here. Jason, you can hear us, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Yep, very good. Okay, so Jason will give you an update on the bond and how it works against our debt that we currently have.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. So one of the things we always look at when we work with our districts on planning for projects is starting by looking at our existing debt as a district and what opportunities there might be for to have a new project come on where prior debt is retiring and minimize the impact of any new project. So that's what you see on screen here is a summary of the district's current capital program for debt service and aid for all the prior authorizations, and they're all listed on the bottom of the page there. And really what we focus in on is the column on the far right that's shaded in blue, column F, which we call our local share, which is essentially the amount of the debt service that the taxpayers pick up in the annual budget after accounting for building aid. And you can see we have a drop-off coming in 2030. Right now we're at about 450,000 a year or so. And in 2030, right next to where that green shading is, that drops off to about 360,000. So the timing works well that, with a referendum next week, that would be approved by the time you design, to make it SD approval and go through all your construction, that the cost of that project would align well with the retirement debt service. So that's kind of where we start, and then the next slide here is just a visual of that graphic. So again, the line going across the page is what's already kind of built into your annual operating budget. And then the drop off space there below the line is where we have room to offset some of the proposed referendum. So when we go to the next page, this is the summary that looks at the proposed project. So again, on the far left, we have the existing debt service, then in columns C through H, where we have the green shading, that's the proposed maturity schedule for an $8,345,000 capital project. So we've got debt service coming back, in the middle of the page there, plus the building aid that we get back, which the district gets, gets building aid back for any improved project costs, which helps offset a lot of the costs of the project. And then when we put it all back together in the far right-hand column where the green shading stay right at that current local split level out in the future. And if we advance to the next slide and just putting it all back in that visual approach on the bar chart, you can see we stay the blue lines again representing the existing debt, the green lines representing the new debt, and when we put it all back together, we stay at or below that current line that's in the 24-25 operating budget. So this project could be fit in just with the return of debt service with no additional tax burden on the local taxpayers, so no additional tax impact to do this proposed $8,345,000 project.
Great. Thank you, Jason. Just, if you want to just hang tough in case we get a couple questions. Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay. So next up will be our district architect. This is John Sharkey. Like I said, he's been an architect here for 30-some years, I believe. He'll go through the building scope of this capital project and explain to you how that works with the BC.
Oh, good evening. Thank you for your time. So I'll go a little bit through the scope, schedule, and budget for the projects. The first thing we'll look at is the MC Smith School. We're looking to do some sidewalk repairs there. There's a few areas on the campus there that need some sidewalks done. We also are looking at reconstructing tennis courts. The district had gotten some pricing over the last few years to recoat the top of the tennis courts, and well, that was fairly expensive to do that, and all the recommendations from the experts were saying that we really need to do the sub-base as well to get it to work right. So the intent there is to take everything out, redo the tennis courts the right way, and install new fencing. There's a couple of openings in the attic floor in the school that need to be fire safe, so we take care of that. There's also exterior doors around the building that are, some are original to the building, some are in disrepair. So we're looking to replace those with upgraded security and hardware. The 1997 wing on the end, the two wings on the end of the roof, the asphalt shingles on the sloped areas are out of warranty right now, so looking to redo those as well to get everything back up to warranty. And similarly, the interior fire doors throughout the building, we had several openings that need to be replaced. There's hardware that's not latching correctly, and just old systems. Tyler's guys have been doing a great job trying to keep the repairs, but some of the hardware and some of the door repairs, you just can't get those materials anymore, so it's a good time to replace it. We're also looking to replace the steam boilers at the building, replace some selected emergency lights throughout the building. There's a couple of places where we need some additional lighting. We're looking to add a generator, an emergency generator at that building. This campus has one, that building doesn't, so it would be great to have that to take care of kitchen items and other things throughout the building. Renovating 6 toilet rooms as well throughout the building, some original, some a little later, but they need upgrades. And replacing some tanks, diesel and gasoline storage tank at the site. And then also looking to modify, there's an existing salt shed there that's very small, so we're looking to upgrade that, get a little more space in there for salt and storage. So totaling the costs on that particular building is $3,063,000 for the work there. Jumping to the high school, junior high, a lot of the same items, some sidewalk repairs. There's a exterior wall at the back of the building where some new cooling equipment was put in a few years ago. And there's the wall around that needs to be repaired, so we're going to take care of that. You can see that in the upper right-hand corner photo. Some of these items were also noted in your building condition survey the district did a few years ago, so we're trying to tick off those items that were required to be repaired. Again, replacing some exterior doors. We're also looking to infill some glass areas in the corridors for safety and also visual concerns. The gymnasium acoustic wall pads, we're going to replace the old softer material with a more dense material for future use. We're again replacing interior doors, some old carpeting in this building. Actually, there's some carpeting here that's pretty much original to the building that should be done. Excuse me. Again, renovate toilet rooms, replacing some old piping down in the basement, and also pool renovations. We're looking to Years ago, a lot of the equipment was replaced, but we didn't get to replace some of the piping from the equipment into the pool because it's encased in concrete. But at this point, we need to either reline it or come up with another system. We're also going to have an alternate in the project to replace the auditorium seating here. Again, Tyler's guys have been doing great trying to maintain it, but the parts aren't available. They're old, and as people are getting up and sitting down, you can hear it squeaking during performances, and it's a good time to replace it. But it will be an alternate, so the board can decide at that time whether they actually want to do that work. Sand and refinish the gym floor. We're also looking to replace the classroom folding partitions in the original building. All the classrooms on the first and second floor have these folding partitions that they used to be able to open, and the classes could work together, and a lot of those partitions have failed. They're just either closed permanently and locked, or they're just not working on the tracks, so we're looking to replace those. And then exterior storage. Every school district needs more storage, so we're looking to do like a combined small buildings for athletics and then facilities so to be able to store things, maybe get some items out of the building and out of the courtyards and get them stored wherever they should be and where they'd be safer. So the cost for the high school scope is $2,979,000. So that brings the construction cost, base construction cost, $6,042,000. And then we added in escalation because, as everybody knows, I hate to use the word tariffs, but there's increased costs on things that we want to just make sure that we have that covered. So we added 5% to that to bring the total construction cost to $6,344,100. And then on top of that, there's incidental costs that the district has for any costs the district has for design fees, special inspections, testing, any hazardous material testing, things like that, and in-house items such as insurance. And then we're also carrying DASNY and capitalized interest fees, which is, Jason could probably explain that a little bit better, but it's basically money set aside so that when the district borrows money, they may have to offset some of that with some initial upfront money, or they go through DASNY for better rates. So it's kind of a block of money we keep in there, and then when bid time hits and we see what the market is, you can decide whether or not to use that money. So it's there as a placeholder. And then so that brings it to a total project cost of $8,345,000, which is the line that Jason had mentioned was the amount that would be no cost increase to the taxpayers. We'd keep the debt service flat, so you'd be able to do all that work without any increase in taxes. Is that it?
That's just some more pictures.
Yep. Oh, okay. So yes, this is some more of the photos, just the bathroom renovations, the pool. I think you just did some repairs on there last year, year before. So, it's been maintained, but it's time to really get in there and redo the tile work, redo the gutter system, redo the piping in there. Also the ceiling and the lighting. The lighting in there is pretty much original to the building as well. So we're looking to upgrade that, make it a nicer space. Some of the concrete sidewalk repairs we talked about. And so schedule. Before I get to schedule, anybody have any questions on scope or budget or any of those items?
I have a few questions on the whole project.
Yeah.
First, you did air conditioning in the budget 2 years ago?
About four years ago. Yep.
What happened? The whole project was planned out, budgeted. Where was the fault that they were only able to do half of the project when there was money allocated for the entire project? What fell apart?
So the original estimate for the pricing went up significantly over the year, but because of, again.
So it took a year or two from the time it was passed and
Yes.
accepted to the time the work was going to be done?
Yeah.
Prices weren't locked in?
Increased. Well, we can design the project, but until you go to bids, you really can't lock in a price until the project's out for bids. So once the referendum passes, it's usually a year to a year and a half because it takes us 8 months or so to design. Then it goes up to SED, unfortunately, for another 8 months.
Why would the design be done before the project is brought to scope?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the list.
Why wouldn't the project be completely designed before it went to a budget vote?
Oh, it wasn't designed. No, the budget vote comes first, and then the design comes afterwards.
So how do you figure out the cost of it before you design it?
We just have to basically use square foot costs and experience from previous projects. similar to this, we look at it, and that's why I mentioned that we have escalation in there now. Typically, escalation for, things that come up is usually, 1.5% to 2%. That year was 5%. So just for materials itself, and then the other costs. So
Okay.
going forward, we're trying to plan and have that in the budget. If we don't need to use it, you don't have to, but we like to keep that number in there just to be safe.
I'll also add too, that particular project went to the taxpayers, so there was a 5-6 month layoff there. where
Okay.
We went to May to get the approved, so there's a half a year right there that.
So it was basically a time frame from the time it was proposed to the time it actually, okay.
And there were actually code changes to the refrigerants that you use in the materials and things like that, so it's just a perfect storm of things that
So it
happen.
wasn't just a misjudgment on the project?
Absolutely
Right.
not.
Okay. I also noticed at the last meeting, it was built into this. Now it's maybe gonna happen?
For the
Because I don't
additional,
see it on here listed.
No, it wasn't on at the last meeting.
Okay, because the way it was presented,
If he just bounces back a couple of slides, we just talked about the progress that's happened.
Okay.
And the first phase happened,
okay.
and that's what. we're
But
talking
originally it
about.
wasn't supposed to be 2 phases, it was supposed to be 1.
No, but we had no
Okay.
choice.
That's
Yeah.
so we had talked about that we'll take a look at that, and it could potentially be put in the project as an alternate.
Okay.
And if it comes in low, we can do it. If it doesn't, then at least we know what it
I
costs.
remember going to school here, we didn't even have AC, so.
Right.
That is awesome.
Right, but
Exactly.
now we're covering locals.
Yes.
Things that came down, the school has to, maintain. a
Totally
certain
understand.
grade.
Yep.
And those 8 classrooms are the only 8 left in the entire district that does not have air.
Totally understand. Okay. Last question. The fuel tanks, are they currently in ground or above ground?
So it's both above ground. One is housed in our district,
Okay.
which is diesel tank. And the other one is also above ground, is the unleaded fuel is down at the elementary school with no protection.
Okay. So this is asking for 1,000 gallon tank.
Right, it'll be a dual tank.
Oh, okay.
It's
It's 500 split.
Yep, it'll be
Okay.
500 capacity on one side for diesel and 500
Oh, okay.
capacity on the other side.
Have they done a soil sample to make sure there's no contamination?
That'll come once it's all approved.
Because that could be very costly at that point too, if there's
Right.
contamination.
Yeah, that would turn into an
Control the
insurance.
budget.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're intending to do a above-ground double wall tank with the alarms. Putting underground tanks now
Sure, I
is
get that.
is a
But
no-no.
If you get into the situation where there is contamination,
Right.
what's going to happen at that point?
Well, you'd have to do testing if there is contamination. It would obviously have to be abated, and then it
Yeah,
turns
you
into
have to
an
do
an
remediation.
insurance, an insurance issue, yeah.
But that can come out very costly, so what happens at that point?
Well, at that point, we'd have to get the insurance company involved.
Okay,
And then it would be abated, we'd have to do it as part of the project, but I think we'll do some soil testing first just to see what we have.
thank you.
Yep, no problem. Sorry. Okay, so schedule. A couple of these items we've already done. The state seeker, state environmental quality review has already been done, reviewed by the board. The resolution to go to a vote obviously already happened. So we're in I believe, the last public informational meeting. Vote date is May 20th. Project schedule is that the construction documents would start, if the vote's successful, we would start right away. We want to try to get up to SED as soon as possible, the State Education Department. That right now they're at about 20-week review time, but we usually see as votes pass and people start getting projects up there, that goes out a little bit more, but they do have an expedited review process that we could potentially use. So we're looking for a start of construction in June of 2026 would be optimal. All the more reason to get started as soon as we can. And total authorization is $8,345,000. And I think that is it. Is any other questions?
I have a question, but for,
Yeah.
fast now.
If is it about the project?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You're still going through the timeline.
Yep.
When you're done,
Oh, no, I'm all set. Yep.
well, so it's about the whole presentation of
No,
Just for the capital portion. We have another, John's going to talk about the EPC portion, the energy performance.
okay.
Do you want to have him do that and then?
No.
Okay.
budget?
I'm sorry?
Do you have questions about the general budget?
No, I have questions about this part of what Mr. Sharp presented about.
Sure.
Facility.
Yeah, you can go ahead and ask us.
Yeah,
Ask them now,
yeah, absolutely.
and for your Tyler, right?
Yes.
So Tyler, how many people are on your staff?
36
By the way, I'm Ken
approximately.
Sheffer, I'm interested primarily in the tennis courts.
Okay, yeah, approximately 36.
36.
Yes.
I would have said there are less, but you need more, I think.
Tell me about it.
You need more equipment. I think some of this should go to equipment for your staff, your crew. I also, just in general, no offense to anyone here, but it's kind of late to introduce this a week before the vote. And you guys should be way, way, way ahead of this.
Well, that's.
Nobody knows anything about this.
Yeah, it's been
It's been out
ongoing.
there.
This is like
This has been out?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Where?
The board meetings, we did presentation at the
I remember all
library,
the
we did
minutes.
I think the
presentation.
original presentation was early April.
Okay, pardon me, but
March.
it's not in the minutes. But anyway, I got the minutes with me, you want me to read them again? I think there's a question out there about how much, what this is all about.
Yep.
And that's fair,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
I don't think there's been, you say there's been specific mention, I read everything Tyler has presented before. There's never any detail of that. Now, maybe it's in the 5-year plan, the review. You do a facility review, right?
I haven't even been here for 5 years, but yeah.
You got a new one. I saw the last one. But there's a new
So
one.
we do building condition surveys, which are mandated by the state, and they happen every 3 years. I've personally done one since I've been here.
Okay, could I get a copy of that? I know it's on file with the clerk.
Yeah, sure, you can look, and this is my second year here, so
Sorry?
this is my second year here, so if we're in a 5-year review, then I haven't been here for 5 years yet, so you've been here for 3 years.
I can give them a copy of
Yeah,
the
we'll get you the copy.
And also a copy of the seeker as well,
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
because I studied seekers the last time I was, well, it's cool. But anyway, I don't think the numbers have been out there, but congratulations if they were. I think, I like this project, but it's just timing of money and things hard for the community. But, you know, I'm very selfish. I'm more interested in the tennis courts. Grew up here as a tennis boy, and I grew up across the street. But first, let me say a couple of other things. One would be, does the clock in the Smith Tower work?
No,
Why isn't that on?
because you can't, there's, the components of that clock are obsolete and you cannot get them.
Right, I know the company that built it. I have the whole, sort of, I have the Smith's original plan for it. You
Yep.
can replace the system.
No.
It's not expensive.
I would love for you to share it with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, if the clock runs, that's a pretty good sign for school, I'd say. That everyone looks at that clock and laughs.
I agree, I will look myself.
So I think, secondly, for the tennis area, there's a big blue and gold bathroom that's never open to the public. There's a big facility that was put in maybe in the 70s.
That's the old concession stand.
Old concession stand.
Yep.
It would be nice if somehow, for the community, bathrooms were available for
Right.
tennis players.
Yep, so there's a portable toilet there now, but I do agree with that, but that's just, you know.
But, got it. Understand. I also want to just say that, you know, the United States Tennis Association offers loans and grants for communities such as ours, building new tennis courts. It's an active, easy program. Money can be applied.
We'll look into that.
So I talked to the USTA yesterday, Friday. They'd be interested in hearing your pitch.
Sure.
Great.
So why don't you just reach out to our business office, to Ms. Berry, because we oversees grants, and we can work on that. worked with community members with obtaining a bicycle grant this past year, and it was a community member that brought me the information, and we filed for the grant. We were able to get 35 bikes for the junior high. So yeah, we welcome the collaboration.
And then, I have done a rendering of how I'd like to see the tennis area turn out. I'll share it with you. And I'm wondering if you would accept the participation of a community advisory committee for the tennis.
So, I'm not sure if there's-
When it's time for us to
lay
revamp,
out for the
yeah,
RFPs, yeah.
for the RFPs or to get the tennis court remodeled, sure, we can have a community group to
So
give
that's a yes,
input.
yes.
Yes,
Because you have
but-
them for a lot, you do look for community groups for everything. And so I'm offering to put one together.
No, absolutely, but when we're ready, let's get everything passed and we know that we have money to do this. And then once we have everything done and we get ready to say, okay, so how do we plan to revamp or to revamp our tennis courts? And, yes, we can create a committee for an advisory team for that, where we can collaborate together and knowing that we can only go so far as to how much funds we have. So yes, if we have grants that can support us, that would be great.
Well, I think there's a lot of excitement, positive excitement about the tennis courts that you should take advantage of. I've probably gotten 30 or 40 communications from my past colleagues and whatnot, all wondering what the heck is going on. Of the whole plan that you have, this is by far the most visible thing you will do. The whole city will see what you do there.
Yes.
They're not gonna see your boilers or your bathrooms. They're not. They're just not.
Unless they set up a tour, we have to show.
And then if you want us to show some of your boiler, that's your time. But I doubt you do, and I doubt anyone does. But you do need the boiler, I know that. And I was happy that Tyler talked about the gym because I'm a big supporter of that gym staying, Ed Smith staying up to speed. But I think, that it's a almost 28 acre campus. It's almost college-like. Those courts are the biggest part of the campus. Through that, there's a lot you can say to the community. And I think people are worried. That's why I'm here. I'm here to offer support, not trouble. So I built and paid for the Livingston Town Court about 2 years ago. Put that in. The company specializes in it. I didn't get involved. I just paid it. They put in a court. Take a ride out and see. But what I think we want is something. People are concerned about the numbers you're throwing around. So just be frank. Let everybody be frank here. When you say $58 million, people want to know what's going on. And you add this in. Now, the private architecture is well known and well respected. Mr. Sharkey is especially well respected. And I would ask that you accept the community's involvement. A part of this that finally the community feels like you're connecting with the tennis court. There's a lot of people interested. You may not see it or feel it, but a lot of people watch this court at this point. It looks like a party. So I think it's a very inexpensive way to give off a message of good vibes to the community. And I have personally repaired the 2 brick pillars at the entrance of the tennis courts I paid for myself. Cost me about $25,000. I think you knew I did that. I didn't get a thank you, but I told you I did it. And I plan on doing the rest of them. I had your permission, so I have the best brick masons in the area doing it. They're going to straighten out the wire, the metal fencing as well. This one's supposed to be this spring. But I grew up right on that sports. I got a tennis scholarship because of this sport. So did a lot of people. They're all right to me. I can remember standing on the edge when the last time they were all ripped up, just waiting for somebody to say the courts were dry. And out we went again. And we never looked back. it's a chance to bring the community together, to soften the blow of this amount of money, and to say, we hear you. Because it's the most response I've gotten to anything I've ever written about this school, by far. I think everyone wants Tyler, people respect Rhinebeck architecture, Sharkey. I don't know the superintendent at all, first time to meet. I don't know you, but you gave a very nice presentation. But it is a week away from money. You guys must be exhausted. But I came here to tell you what is being buzzed about. Because anything can happen in the school district, you know?
Well, my door is always open, and anyone who makes calls or tries to come and see, make an appointment, they're welcome to come to my office. I'm a superintendent that lives here, very visible in the community. So you're always welcome to come to my office for a conversation. I've always tried my best to be transparent with the community.
I'm not blaming you. I didn't try to see you. So I'd
know.
love to see you.
Yeah, anytime, make an appointment,
Yeah.
just come on in.
Maybe I'll wait till after graduation. So, but I just want to say thank you. I want to especially thank Rhinebeck Architecture. I think they've held it together well enough in difficult times. COVID was a big problem. But we hope that you'll do the same. I'm worried about the fencing down at the tennis courts. That fencing was put in by J.C. Rogerson's, which is on Warren Street, still operating. It's historic. It was bought by Dr. John L. Edwards. He paid for it. The rest of the fencing that's from Bethlehem Steel was designed by Lori Cox, the architect. The little acorn things at the top were all designed by him and Dr. Edwards. And the first courts were put in by Smith and Dr. Edwards, John Edwards. And the whole layout was designed by that, the three of them. And that tennis court facility is a works in progress administration Roosevelt Green Deal project, top to bottom. When you tear it up, sure, okay, if you invite me, I'd love to see all the layers of the course to remember. I'm sure they're all still there. But I would just say, I'm not looking for anything except to see where you go with this, and to know that the community is disappointed in the way it looks. We're here to be helpful. I think Tyler does a great job. I think you could do more with the track. You could put in those bleachers you promised from the back behind the baseball field. That should go in here. They promised to put in nice, portable or temporary bleachers, but you can put in permanent bleachers now. I don't know if this baseball team plays. And also, I would recommend that you invest some money in some tennis coaches. If you're going to put in new courts, Hudson used to be the center of everything. And that's all I had to say. I really think this is an opportunity for the community to come together. And I think Rhinebeck Architecture should take that seriously, especially for local issues. This project down here, that field, 28 acres of the building, was personally approved on December 31st at 11 p.m. in the Oval Office by Franklin Roosevelt himself. He approved it himself against Carol Leakey, the Interior Secretary, and against his advice. He was brought in for him the third time to sign it. He had a head cold. Mrs. R was in bed. She was sick. And he signed it anyway and went and had some drinks. And that's the truth. So please, that's how I look at it, but I'm almost 70 years old, so I'm a different kettle of fish. But that's how I look at it, and that's how people listen. And we drive by there, we look at those courses, and that's how we think the school district is doing. I'm sorry to say. And right now, it looks awful. So it's a chance. It's a billboard for you. And a community advisory spend more money or make it glamorous. We just wanted to show some respect to the community. It needs it. It's been 50, more than, I think last one was 71, where they really dug it up. So that's all I have to say. I don't support $8 million for anything, or $58 million, but that's way beyond me. I'm here because I watch Tyler's crew work. They obviously need more equipment, and they obviously need more people. It's a massive school system. And I would just hope that what's done down there is, I wouldn't say first class, but is classy. And we can help with that. We can give you our opinions, and you can listen or not. I think Mr. Sharkey has done a lot of that.
We have several committees in other districts. We get together. Sports is always a big item. It's a feature in every district, so we try to address those.
Yeah, okay. So I don't need to stage my protest city in the course setting, but it was a joke. I wish you well. I'll tell you more about what I'm doing after graduation. Thank you. With the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, so next we'll talk about the energy performance contract. Mr. John Sanborn will step in. He will give you the laydown of the EPC, how it works, and how it will improve our district.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. My name is John Sanborn of Johnson Controls. And the first few slides here are from the district's engineering firm acting as an owner's rep. The name of their company is Energia. And I'll talk just a little bit about Energia and their role in the energy performance contract. And then I'll go into the energy performance contract itself. Okay, so Energia is the engineering firm acting as the owner's representation during the project development and implementation of the energy performance contract. And just a little bit about energy performance contracting. And so it just speaks to, I would say, a creative funding mechanism, and it brings a way to fund supplement a capital project initiative by bringing supplemental work in the form of an energy performance contract that is a budget neutral approach with no tax increase. And it's funded through guaranteed savings and performance. So just a little bit more about how an energy performance contract works. The construction activities are focused around energy savings, conservation measures. And so the district has its current energy budget for the program. Once a construction project is implemented, there's energy savings associated with the measures. So there's during the program, there's a new energy budget. Then there's a loan for the debt service payments, along with state aid. All energy performance contracts are eligible to receive state aid. And then some positive cash flow during the term. And then after the term, when the debt service is paid off, you of course have your energy savings plus the positive cash flow as a result. So a little bit about the activity to date. So Energia was involved and issued a request for proposals in the fall of 2024. And throughout the winter, Johnson Controls, my firm, responded to the RFP along with a few others. And we were lucky enough to be awarded the project. And in March we were appointed as the district's energy performance contractor. And next week, we're asking voters to approve an additional 10% building aid as part of the project. So I'll go through a little bit more about the project. Again, I'm John Sanborn. I'm an account exec with Johnson Controls. I have a whole team behind me in terms of construction management, energy engineering, and then measurement and verification. And so right now, like I mentioned, we've recently been appointed and we've kicked off the comprehensive energy audit. But during the RFP, so we're really digging into the details now, but in terms of what we've found so far, in terms of observations and recommended solutions is we've observed aging heating systems in need of replacement, and particular to our project, it's the boiler plant in this building that we're addressing. And then two, there's a unique opportunity to leverage the existing solar asset that the district has here at the high school. And so what we're going to do as part of the project is actually buy that. It's constructed through a solar PPA, a power purchase agreement. And there's a unique opportunity to save the district even more money by using the EPC funding mechanism to buy that power purchase agreement out. And with those additional savings, it's allowing us to fund more of the capital intensive items such as the boiler plant here in this building. There are some others that I'll hit on as well, some other scope items. And just a high-level overview of the project. And we're looking at 15 energy conservation measures across the district. By state law, we've got to meet an 18-year simple payback for the SED. And so over the term, the project will generate just over $2.2 million in positive cash flow. It's a project cost of just over $8 million that will generate just under $425,000 in annual savings. Again, the project is eligible for New York State building aid at 58.5, and with voter approval, that will increase by an additional 10%. There are rebates and incentives available through the project in the form of Inflation Reduction Act monies. There are some NYSERDA FlexTech monies available for the comprehensive energy audit, and then energy efficiency rebates through National Grid. So again, one of the items I spoke to was the existing power solar PPA agreement that exists. And so in 2026, that system will be in year 9 of the agreement. And there's an opportunity to receive a heavily discounted buyout clause to convert that system to district ownership. As you can see, the district pays roughly $140,000 to a private entity to essentially lease that system. And by using the EPC to buy that out, there's a buyout clause, we can terminate that payment and roll those funds into the EPC. And after that time, the district will receive 100% credit for all the renewable energy that is produced. So again, by doing that, it will help fund the capital-intensive boiler upgrade. Speaking of the capital-intensive boiler upgrade, this is the boiler plant here that serves this building. It's, I think, original to the building in 1969. It's a steam system, and we are proposing to demolish that system and upgrade it to a high-efficient condensing hot water plant. We're evaluating the opportunity to install more solar PV in the form of rooftop rooftop system at the MC Smith Elementary School. And I spoke to, there's 15 other, or 15 total ECMs, or energy conservation measures, but the rest of them are listed here. And what those represent in terms of total cost are about $1.7 million in total cost, but generate just over $148,000 in total annual savings for an 11-year simple payback. So these measures are all energy saving, energy conservation measures, good upgrades to get done, and also drive savings for the project. So in terms of cash flow, I have some numbers here. We have a proposed project at 4.25% interest rate and your 58.5% NICEAD aid. So there'll be a loan, typically in the form of a tax-exempt lease payment of just over $696,000 for year one, or $10.4 million total. You have your energy savings, the solar PPA buyout savings, some negative O&M savings. Again, add your NICEAD building aid and your estimated rebates for a net cash flow to the district in year one of just over $423,000, but over the 18-year term, a positive cash flow to the district of over $2.2 million. During the RFP process, we noticed that that the district has an existing STEM program, and Johnson Controls proposes to help fund that existing program going forward, or we also have some other programs that we can provide as part of the project. And in terms of timeline, again, I think this will work well in collaboration with the capital project, in that we're looking for a summer of 2026 construction. Again, next week we're asking the voters to approve an additional 10% building aid. And that will allow us to generate even more cash flow for the project. But we're working through the summer on the comprehensive energy audit with Tyler and Mr. Sharkey, and expect to have final costing and savings back to share with the district late this summer.
I have a
Any question?
Who actually owns the solar panels?
Tesla.
Okay. So you wanted, a solar panel's life expectancy is roughly 25 years. So right now, in the next 10 years, it's going to go from 139,000 to 159,000 if we stay paying the PPE.
It's about 1.5 million.
So it brings about okay, after 1.4, roughly, okay.
Yep.
If we're buying it, it's 1.2. So roughly there's about a $200,000 difference.
Correct.
Okay. At the end of the life expectancy, who's responsible for the removal, the disposal, and redoing the panels? Because right now, we have roughly over 3,800 panels. It's about $500 a panel to remove and dispose. That right there is $1.9 million. So we're going to buy it for $1.2 million, save $200,000, but yet when the life expectancy runs out in roughly 10 years, we're going to get hit with another $2 million removal and disposal, not including rebuilding the system. So does that fall back on the district, or does that fall back on Tesla?
So according to their contract, which they signed with the district, We remove the panels after the contract is up, whether we own them or don't.
So it's gonna be an expense regardless.
Regardless, that's correct.
So is it worthwhile at that point for us to buy it out? I mean, we're talking $1.9 million.
Right, so at that point, the district could look to upgrade the system, because it's already there, the framework, everything else. The solar panels, they have a life expectancy of 25 to 30 years, you're correct, but they could last longer.
So the way the panels work, for that grid system, they are only effective to 80%. At 80%, they're no longer effective in that role. They can be used in other areas, lighting up lights in the parking lot, something like that. But for that grid system, at 80%, that's not even the full life expectancy. At 80%, they're considered useless in that capacity. So these are things that we really need to look at.
Oh.
Because it sounds good now, what's going to be 10 years from now? And also,
So,
back in May 17, 2000, letter from the school, they stated, let's see here, the estimated savings of the district is going to be 60% on its electricity bills through 2035.
What year was that? I'm sorry.
2018, right off the website.
Okay,
This was proposed.
yep.
Has anybody ever done any studies to see if we're getting our 60% break on electricity?
We'd have to contact the business office for that, but.
I mean,
D-
these are
during the
numbers.
RFP, Johnson Controls evaluated the district's electric bills,
Okay.
and you are seeing significant savings.
Are we seeing the
from-
60% like they
Fro-
promised us?
I don't know what they promised, but
Got it right here.
we saw, I think it was 200, north of 200, $200,000 a year directly off the national grid bill. And so that, the system is, the electricity is being exported 100% to the grid, and then it's a dollar value coming back via credit from National Grid.
Okay.
It's connected via a VEDR system or the VEDR methodology.
I get all that.
That-
And I'm a strong supporter in alternative energy. But we're getting figures. I just want to know, are these figures accurate?
Yeah, the evaluation that we did during the proposal confirmed that the district is seeing significant savings through the generation of that system.
Anywhere near
Um,
60% that we were spending in 2017 to where we are now?
That I don't know off the
Is there a
top
way
of
to
my head.
find that out?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, that's,
Yes.
because we're all involved in the community. We're all involved in the district. So I think we should know
Yeah,
before,
I mean, I was unaware of that letter, 2018.
it was right on the, get it right on the website.
Okay, well, we can follow up to it.
No, I'm not picking at
No,
it,
it's okay.
just trying to know the figures.
Yep.
Because this is a huge, huge project.
But we'll check into it to compare what it was then versus now, because
Okay.
we know it's 200-something thousand, but we have to get you the
It's
percentage.
just a shame that we're a week away. So,
Well, and like, so you're a week away from
voting
approving-
on this.
No, this doesn't get voted on until August of
I thought this was part of the vote, or,
No,
oh,
this-
no, the vote, yes, I'm sorry.
Nope, this is just the only thing you're approving with this on Tuesday is to have an additional 10% state aid on top of our 58% state aid that we currently have. Once these guys do the audit for the EPC and they bring all this information in, then they submit the contract to Dr. Penniman and the board in August, that will be approved. No money gets spent until then.
So the vote coming up next week is not approved.
It is only to get an additional 10% of state aid. State aid allows the voters to vote on that, because if the voters are behind the district, they will give you an additional 10% of state money to support the EPC. That's the only thing you're voting on.
Okay. So that's not included in the $8 million.
That's
Energy.
two separate projects.
Okay.
other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.